This is making pickles. Hi friends, welcome back to Disabled Farm School. I'm Rachel, and today we are making pickles. All right, so if you're new here, I'm Rachel. I am a farm and garden educator, sustainable designer, permaculturalist, and creative who lives with chronic illnesses and disabilities and is relearning how to farm and farmstead with them. Includes food, because that's what I'm growing. So today I thought we'd make some pickles. If you've watched any of my other fermentation videos before, you know that I think fermentation is awesome if you have limited energy or a dynamic disability with unpredictable energy, because it's a lot of input up top and then you kind of just let the microbes do the work and you check on them. So you might need to set an alarm to remind you to check on them, but other than that, the collaboration is I do all this upfront stuff, the microbes do the next set of stuff, and then I move it to the refrigerator when I think their part is done. And that doesn't kill them, it just slows them down and helps preserve the food. All in all, really cool stuff. The gut microbiome, really cool. Also, fermented foods, really delicious. Most of us have them somewhere in our lineage, so, check out what those might be for you. Think about the lineage of our microbiome, right? Like all the generations of gut microbes that we've been living with. Okay, enough nerdery, let's make pickles. I just have to say, I love dill pickles. I do not like sweet pickles. I don't like spicy pickles. I like sour brine dill pickles. I'm using Sandor Katz's wild fermentation for the recipe. We'll try to remember to link that down below. And I'm out of breath because it's hot, but also I just took the dog for a walk to go get some ingredients. We've got garlic. Honestly, I love garlic. Part of what I'm pickling here is garlic. I will eat pickled garlic. So I might put 2 small heads in this one jar. That's probably overkill, but it will make me happy. We've also got cucumbers from my landmate's garden. They are a little the worse for wear because I put them in one of those compostable bags in the fridge, which don't keep them from getting, they're a little dinged up. I've got 3 big cucumbers. I'm basically looking at them thinking, well, would they fit in the jar now? And the answer is maybe. I might need another jar. I've got a big old spoon. Oh, I'm missing a big bowl of water. We'll get that in a second. And then I've got oak leaves. That's what I got on my walk with the doggo. I just washed them and rinsed them off because they have tannins in them that will help keep the pickles crispy, crunchy, not soggy. You can also use grape leaves. I just don't have access to any. That's what I've always done before, so this is a new experiment for me. And I got both live oak leaves and deciduous oak leaves because I don't know if you can use both. I'll probably use the deciduous ones, the ones that drop their leaves. The live oaks are evergreen. Definitely have tannins in them. I'll do a jar with each and see what happens. Then I've got my sea salt with no iodide because that will keep it from being happy. I'm really tired. If I sound a little like I'm in an altered state, that altered state is called brain fog. Welcome to chronic illness. Won't you come in? Anyway, I have sea salts. I've got peppercorns, although not nearly enough of them. That's upsetting. And then I've got dill. Now I really prefer this with fresh dill, but I don't have any in the garden right now, so we're gonna use this stuff and we'll just put a little extra in. got measuring cups and spoons, and because fermentation is a bubble toilet and no trouble really process, I have this tray to put under the jar in case it bubbles over that my neighbor made me that is ceramic, and it has a hen on it. And then on the back, she stamped my name. How sweet is that? I have the best neighbors. This is just a basic lacto fermentation. The things that you put in there are the spices that you are using. The thing that keeps the pickles crunchy, which in this case is I'm so tired. Oak leaves. It's the oak leaves. And then the thing you're pickling, which in this case is cucumbers. I'm going to slice the cukes. And then brine, salt brine. And the ratio is in the recipe. That's not like a metaphor. It's just true. The amount of salt to water is what keeps it both safe and invites in the bacteria that are in the air, the lactobacillus. Someone needs her nails clipped. It creates the right environment for the right type of good bacteria in the air, the lactobacillus, to come in and start fermenting. So when you hear lacto fermenting, it sounds like it has to do with milk. It has to do with lactobacillus. What are you doing? Just like, lactobacillus is one of the, no, I can't remember that. Brain. Well, okay. Anyway, let's chop some cukes. Everything's in the jar. Now I'm going to pour the brine in. Carefully, maybe, probably, hopefully. Not very carefully. All right, let's do this a different way. Get the air bubbles out. And then I have this jar corked with some water in it because I can't find my fermentation weights, but this is clean, I think. Yes. And I just want to make sure, yeah, there's a little too much brine, that the cucumbers are fully submerged. So I'm just going to push them down, pour off a little more brine, and then the weight should just keep them submerged. So if it doesn't, then I can add a little bit of brine back in. And then I'm going to set it, bonk. Then I'm going to set it on the tray so that if it bubbles over as it's fermenting, it gets caught. And there you have it. Pickles. I'm going to let them hang out, and I'm probably going to cover it with a cloth, a big sort of thin cloth and a rubber band, and let it hang out for a few days and come back and check on it every couple of days. Sometimes there'll be a little scum on the top. That's normal. It's not super dangerous. You just skim it. I mean, it's not dangerous. You just skim it off. And as long as the fruit or vegetable itself stays below the level of the brine, you're good to go. Anything that ends up poking up, you can just pull it out and toss it. And once I have tasted these and decided they're how I like it, I will put a lid on this and put it in the fridge. And then I've got pickles, and they last a really long time in the fridge. Yeah, that's pickles. So fun. Okay, it's a few days later, and I'm going to taste these pickles. I ended up making a second smaller jar using a tea bag for the tannins, which are supposed to provide crispness, which I've also never tried before. It's funny how frustrated I am that I'm not using grape leaves. These are all new experiments. It's great to learn, and I just love grape leaves. But I'm kind of paranoid about growing grapes because the fruit is super toxic to dogs, and I just don't trust myself not to drop them or clean up. I don't know if I'll clean up enough to make sure that my doggo doesn't get one, and I just don't want that to even be a risk. It's just interesting how my like all or nothing thinking can really kick in, and I've been thinking about that a lot this week, both with projects where that's the place I'm most willing to tinker and fail and try things and be bad at things, is like DIY hands-on stuff. And I love that. It's something I really like about myself. I struggle with that in other areas of life sometimes. And I've been thinking a lot about this channel, and I don't know when you're seeing this, and I don't want to like ruin the illusion of synchronicity with time between my life and yours. And you know this is recorded before you're watching it. It might be recorded a very long time before you're watching it because I am currently in the process of preparing to launch this channel. You are probably seeing this after that because it would be weird if you're seeing it before that. And I keep trying to do these epically complex videos that to me are already compromises and simpler than I want them to be. And I want to be like my favorite YouTubers, and I want to be like these freaking documentary filmmaker level videographers, and I barely know how to use my camera. And I have disabilities. That's the whole point of this channel. And so I have to remind myself I can't actually complete every project before I make a video and send it to you all. Send it. That's how personal this feels to me. I'm like, here you go, for each of you a video. Post it is what I mean, for you all. But I'm like, I'm about to film a video about making jam, and I haven't done that in a long time. And I keep thinking like, okay, I got to read up and become an expert before I film it, make sure I can do the whole thing or it's not worth making a video about. And it's just wild how, left to my own thoughts, and I think this is true for a lot of people, I will just keep moving my perfectionist baseline up and up and up, and then I'll hang out with someone who's a great reset, one of my friends or colleagues, and it'll go back down to a reasonable level of self-forgiveness and messiness. And so I'm saying this to invoke that ethos, bring back that ethos of like messiness and playfulness and artsiness and sort of like the punk weirdo, like we're not trying to, I'm not a documentary filmmaker, right? I'm a farmer and gardener. I'm an educator and facilitator. I'm a designer, and I'm an improviser, right? Like I'm a performer. I'm not trying to create perfect videos of perfect projects. That would be weird. And I'm not trying to even succeed all the time. I'm trying to show you, I'm trying to connect, honestly. I'm trying to show you my experiences of being chronically ill with dynamic disabilities and trying to farm and garden and share about it, which are basically my jobs, farm and garden and share about it. I've always worked in some version of that, whether it's design or education, facilitation, video classes, or this. And yeah, I don't know, I'm just being really perfectionisty with myself, and I just need to get this channel launched because I'm so tired of not being connected to you all. So once you're watching this, yay, I did it. Now we get to connect. Please say hi in the comments. Okay, that's the end of my ramble. Let's go look at the pickles. Okay, so here they are, our babies. Yay, pickles. This is the mug. I'm so tired today, y'all. This is the, what is my heart rate? No, I'm okay. That's good. In fact, it's too low. Question for you all. Does anyone else who has both POTS or dysautonomia or orthostatic intolerance and migraines have a weird thing where you have to watch your heart rate for tachycardia for it being too high because of the POTS. But you also have to watch it for bradycardia because that's part of your migraine prodrome. I didn't know this until I got the smartwatch to track my heart rate for POTS, and started noticing that when I'm in a POTS episode, my heart rate is 105, 115, 125, which is, multiple times a day, without me doing any aerobic exercise, just like standing or walking around. And when I'm about to get a migraine, suddenly my heart rate is 56, 49, less than half of what I hit daily because of the POTS. And it's wild trying to manage that from both medication and lifestyle perspective. And I want to know if this is happening to anyone else, because it's super interesting to me and to my doctor, and thinking about vasoconstriction and blood pooling, and what is the role of vasoconstriction in the brainstem and migraines. I don't know. Basically what I'm saying is I'm a science nerd, and also this weird thing is happening to me. Is that part of anyone else's migraine prodrome? Let's talk. Okay, so back to the pickles. As usual, I don't really know how to use this camera. I nudged a setting and I don't know what's going on, but I think we're good. So this is the jar of pickles I made that has the oak leaves in it. You can actually see the oak leaf right here. And then this is the one that has, I was going to say, a tea kettle in it. I think I might have brain fog today. This is not a mug. There's no tea kettle inside this small jar. It's a tea bag. And I also am going to just show you, I think, what they look like. So let's unbox the pickles. This is the first one. I'm just going to take the cloth off that I had on here to keep the flies out. And, oh, amazing. No mold or anything. Sometimes you'll get a little scum on the top of the water. I'm just pressing down so you can see the surface of the water. This is my fermentation weight, but I don't see any scum. And that scum is not dangerous if you do see it. Look how much the pickles have gone down, compressed, as the juice has come out of them. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to set it aside on a clean surface, and I'm going to taste a pickle. Those are so nice. They're super mild right now. I think I'm going to leave them in there another couple days. It's a trade-off because they're not that crispy. I don't know if the oak leaf is working. I think 2 more days, and then I will pop them in the fridge. Let them ferment. So I'm putting the weight back in. Just double checking to see. I think I'm going to put a new cloth on because this one has gotten wet and it's not so happy. Then I'm just going to remove, there's some dill on here that I'm going to take off. So this other jar with the tea bag, I made the same day. I just ran out of space on my SD card, so you didn't see it. Now this one does have a little mold, so that's totally fine. I don't know if you can see, because it's not, oh, hello, autofocus, please work. Register, hello. All right, 1 second. I am learning how to use a camera. So there's a little mold right here. And it's not dangerous or anything. It's just because I'm using ground dried dill, a lot of it floated to the top. Whereas if you had big sprigs of dill, it wouldn't have done that. It would have stayed under. But you can see the pickles themselves are fine. So I'm going to just take a paper towel and wipe off that mold, probably with a little vinegar, just a little white vinegar. Okay, let's try this one. Wow, those taste really different. They don't taste like tea, but they do taste different. I don't really know how to explain it. Neither is very crispy, I'm going to be honest with you. Further cementing my idea that grape leaves are best, but also I don't care, I love pickles. It's a weird point in the video for me to admit that I don't like cucumbers, I just like pickles. which are cucumbers, but I don't like raw, fresh cucumbers. They taste like melon rind to me. But I love them for making pickles. Really, I think I love salt and garlic. And they are just such a good vehicle for that. They're so crunchy and yeah. I'm going to disinfect my fermentation weight with just a little more vinegar. I'm not being particularly careful. Again, these are all, like the molds that are dangerous grow in like canned food that has been damaged. This is a pretty safe situation because the stuff we're eating isn't actually the stuff that's fermenting under the brine is not touching the air, and the mold is growing where the air is. So you just wipe off any parts that have had contact. So I'm going to give this a little wipe and let these sit for 2 more days. Covering them again with clean cloths. And where is the other strain? There it is. For the big one, I'm just using a napkin because I don't have any scraps big enough to cover it. If it overflows, it will get on this. That's fine. You can just change it out. I don't want the flies to be able to get in because in summer where I live, there's no keeping the flies completely out of the house. I have all sorts of barriers set up for them and none of them work. It looks like a little gnome, a little pickle gnome. That's honestly too cute. I can't even. Just giving it some space. There. It's wearing a little dress. Now, for the other one, I'm using... Actually, this is much bigger than what I need. But when I have, like, shirts that give up the ghost, and they're not repairable, or I don't have the skills to repair them and the money to have someone else do it, then they become various scraps around the house. And with stuff like flannel or, like, a cotton, anything breathable... I often turn it into cloths for fermentation, and I have a little spot for them in the kitchen. So this little flannel used to be my favorite red flannel shirt. I got it at a clothing swap at the first full-time farm education job I ever had when I was 23, so 13 years ago. And I wore it to death. I wore it out, and now it's here with us making pickles. Love that. Okay, yes, I once again have the mushroom mug. In the spirit of letting go of perfectionism and getting to connection and sharing about things, even if they're incomplete or imperfect, as like not an okay thing to do, but truly the point, I'm so tired today. I don't know if it's like fatigue. I think it is fatigue because I'm doing the verbal aphasia thing that brain fog creates for me. Juniper and I just went to a dog training session. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you all, but Juniper is slowly in training as an in-home service dog. So that means that I don't need her to work in public a ton. She can, but she has she's working on a task that's for the pots, and she will eventually work on some other tasks, but right now we're in public access training. And the truth is, it's so tiring for both of us. My brain gets so tired. It's a lot of standing, right? So I can be upright if I'm moving, but just standing, the blood pools in my feet. I don't know why the camera angle is bad right now. I don't know how to fix it. Just please, I'm sorry. It looks like we're in a horror movie. We're not. We're just making pickles. So anyway, yeah, in the spirit of being honest rather than waiting to film till I feel better, which is all I want to do. But I don't feel bad enough that I actually need to not film. I do keep closing my eyes, which is interesting. It's like too bright in here with all the lights off. Am I getting a migraine? No, heart rate's back in the 70s. That's good. It was hitting 59 earlier, and I got worried that I'd had too much coffee or too much of my vasopressor that I take for the pots. Anyway, I have a bunch of leftover stuff, and there were more cucumbers coming out of the garden. So let's make one more batch of pickles. This time we're going to try it with the live oak leaves. Oh, and a fun addition. I don't know if it's out yet, but there's a video about it. I learned how to harvest my own salt from seawater. I'm going to make this small jar of pickles with the salt I harvested. So I think this is leftover brine. Whoa, that's leftover brine. So I don't actually need to use the salt that I harvested, but I'm going to add a pinch just because it will make me feel happy. Whee! Oh, apparently I'm adding 2 pinches. My pots is acting up today, and it's like, give me more salt. Increase your blood volume. So I pulled some, this is garlic I grew, oak leaves from down the street. There's a little bit of salt that I harvested. These are cucumbers from my roommate's garden that she so generously gave me. She's drowning in cucumbers. And I don't know, I just get so much joy from the DIY-ness of it. Not because it's about me, it's not individual, right? Like, my friend gave me these cucumbers, and like all these plants gave me their pieces and the seed. Like, it's, I don't think of it as me. It's the opposite. It's like I got to work with all these cool ecological agents, including a human friend. And this feeling of like, if I needed pickles, I could get them and make them without having to go through a big corporate store if that wasn't available. It makes me feel delighted and mischievous almost. I love pickles. These have not been washed. I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna cut these a little thicker than the last set because I really like pickles as a snack. These are a little big for eating as a whole pickle. I think we'll try making sort of thicker discs with these so it's really a snack. Fellow Potsies, do you love pickles as a snack? Because it's like a lot of salt water, which helps with our blood volume. I've always loved pickles. I don't know if I've always had POTS. We didn't catch it until a few years ago, but I definitely had symptoms before that. Brine, 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 brine. I'm using the empty pepper jar as the fermentation weight, and we just set it, cover it, and forget it for a couple days. Amazing. So I think you can sort of see here, the fermentation weight's job is just to keep the main material, the cucumbers in this case, from floating up above the top surface of the brine. And that way they're not touching air as they're experiencing fermentation. Whew. Okay, that's it for me and the pickles until they're ready to go in the fridge. Thanks for hanging out, especially when I'm feeling kind of weird. It can be so vulnerable to hang out with other people you don't feel good, but it can be so isolating not to. So when I only feel like moderately bad, like today, where it's not that bad, I'm just clearly very light sensitive because I'm talking to the camera with my eyes almost closed, which could mean a migraine is coming, or it could just mean I'm really, really fatigued. I totally forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah, just like thanks for hanging out with me, I guess. And if you're super isolated right now, I am hanging out with you. What's your favorite fermented food if you can eat fermented food and enjoy it? And it might surprise you what is a fermented food. So check it out and let me know in the comments what you love and what you want to try. Fermenting, have you made pickles before? How did it go? What did you use to keep them crispy? What on earth did I put into this coffee? I have to stop drinking coffee. I might be getting a migraine. Oh, I forgot. The brain fog makes it hard to keep track of things. And then it's like, did I take my proper medication at the right time? And so then you got to come up with all these hacks. And then you're like, but I just want a nice coffee because it's summer. And then you make decaf and then you can't remember which shelf the decaf is on. And when I say you, I'm talking about me. I need to shoot more videos and make more things for the homestead, but I'm really tired and it's getting extremely hot in here. This is why I want the coffee. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It's so fun. I hope you're having an okay day, and wherever you are taking care of yourself as best you can or getting care from others. Remember, gardening is for everybody. We just have to figure out how, and that's what we're here to do. Or at least that's what I'm here to do. See you next time.